Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Multiverse of Entertainment podcast. This is the podcast where we dive into the multiverse of TV and films, and we check out the good, the bad, and the damn right ugly. My name is James, and welcome to this week's episode, which is episode 34, and we are talking probably one of the more classic TV shows in the 90s. I know fondly very well. My buddy and guest today, Sassy Clarence, returns, and we talk about this and we reminisce over this TV show. We're talking Goosebumps, the original Goosebumps show, and it's quite ironic as well that we're doing this episode as this was meant to be kind of like a Halloween episode, but due to taking a week off and then rescheduling everything, we're having it in the first week of December. Which, by the way, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Hope you're all having a wonderful December. I can't believe it's December. 3 more weeks and it's 2024. Wow, that's amazing. So we're talking Goosebumps today. We're looking forward to this one. Let's jump straight into the episode. I don't have a lot of I can't find like interlude music or anything, so you're gonna hear the intro to this show quite a bit in this, so bear with me a second, okay? So let's start it up. This is how good of a podcast host I am, and because I haven't even got the date of the bloody show. Bear with me a second, even though I saw it the other day and I completely forgot about it. Where are we? There we go. So we're talking Goosebumps this week, and let's start the music. Goosebumps was originally released on the 19th of November, 1996. Enjoy the show! Cool. Alright, we're back. Episode 34 for Goosebumps. My buddy Sassy Clarence has returned to the show after 2 weeks of me saying I was going to do it 2 weeks ago and decided to take a little break and then do two completely different things. And I just go, yeah, let's do it. You know? How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Right.
Not too bad.
Goosebumps. I know you've been looking forward to talking about this because this is one of the things we grew up with as a kid. And just to be aware of everybody, we're talking about the 1995, the original series of this show, not the modern day, because we haven't seen the modern day yet.
I didn't even know a modern day thing was a thing until literally just a second ago.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the 1995 show, which is a children's anthology horror TV show, based on the best books of R.L. Stine. And I don't know about you, dude, with school-wise. In school with me, there were a ton of Goosebumps books.
Oh yeah, like in my school, there was a ton of Goosebumps books, and of course, when it came to like the reading classes and they'd ask what books I wanted to read, I'd always pick the Goosebumps books.
Like I'm not much of a reader, but there were some books in school with me, like where I think it was the Haunted Mask was like one of the books, one of the first books that came out, and I'd read like a little bit of it, then the TV show came out not too long after. Those books. What are your first fond memories of Goosebumps?
So my first fond memories with Goosebumps. Now, I actually read the books first in this instance, actually.
Okay.
Because I think round about in the sort of school period, the books were like very popular, particularly in our school library. Like,
yeah,
honestly, I think what made me gravitate towards like the books was they always had like very like fascinating covers on them, which kind of gave you like a sort of a little window into the said stories that each book was about.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that there was the Goosebumps TV series, the original what we're talking about. I believe it was Fox Kids I first watched it on. If I remember rightly, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being on Fox Kids as well, but then I distinctly remember it being first coming out on CBBC as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I can't remember. I can't remember where I watched it first. I think it was Fox Kids myself.
I think for me it was definitely Fox Kids, and I did remember it being a mixture of there were some decently well done stories which were like decently adapted from the book.
Yes,
but then there were ones that were like really fucking cheesy as well.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting mixed bag, but I'm kind of interested to look back at this as a grown-ass adult and just to see where I stand on the fence with this.
Like, I totally forgot most of these until I watched a Mojo top 10 or top 20 on YouTube.
Right, yeah.
And they were going through like the top episodes of the show from like 20 to 1, obviously. And surprisingly, the number one episode, and I think everybody would agree was probably one of the best episodes, is the Haunted Mask.
100%.
Because I think that was the first episode that came out for the series.
Yeah.
And it was around Halloween it came out. I specifically remember watching it. I probably didn't watch it on the premiere it came out, but around about Halloween, I saw the episode and instantly was like, yeah, I'm not wearing masks just in case this fucker decides to do this to me, like, you know?
Yeah.
But like I was looking through, I was doing my research and I was looking through like the episode releases and everything like that. So there's 4 seasons. Originally aired October 27th, 1985, and then the last episode aired November 16th, 1998. And from what I've gathered as well, the UK VHS releases, the UK had less episodes than the American version.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense because over here in the UK, people are like, oh, we can't have, ninjas on our TV, so let's just call the Ninja Turtles the Hero Turtles and, and stuff like that, and instead of using bullets, just use lasers like in the Spider-Man animated series, and like, you go and you watch these, it's very rare that you mix kids and horror at the same time. This what makes this show really unique. It's a horror genre based book, but it's for kids. So it's not. It's scary for kids, but it's not like over the top, like think of the horrors. Like a Halloween Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's straight up murder.
Yeah. It's like. This is gonna sound weird. But it's kind of like softcore porn in a way. I don't know. It's the other way. It's not the full on hardcore stuff. It's just the softcore that people get allowed to watch on like TV at like 9 o'clock at night and stuff.
I mean, a very interesting analogy, but I totally get where you're coming from.
I couldn't think of another analogy. I think that's the closest analogy. All right. Okay, I'm sure somebody will. I'm sure that'll give a kick to somebody, but what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of similar in the same vein of Are You Afraid of the Dark as well, where they were essentially sort of like just children horror anthology series. But it's like, obviously, we can't do like a shitload of gore. We can't do like, people calling each other a bitch or something. And stuff like
exactly.
That. Oh, and we could definitely not have any like exorcism or religious shit in there as well. So it's just like, okay, cool. So
I guarantee I'm gonna get some fucking comments. Did you just compare this to something? Yeah, I did. It's the only analogy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So
don't worry, you're not hearing things. He did compare it.
I did compare it to that, but if you guys are butthurt by that, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, but to what I remembered, not every story of the book got adapted to the TV series.
No, it didn't.
That I know pretty much. Like there were some which are noticeably adapted to the TV series, and then there are just some where they just didn't adapt to it. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because the episode, we're not. This is not a ranking episode a ranking episode for the episodes. This is just literally just talking about it this week. And like some of the episodes that we're gonna run through is like the Haunted Mask. That was a 2-parter. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. The Girl Who Cried Monster. Those were really good ones as well. Return of the Mummy with the fucking doll, like the with the
I'll be down in a moment.
With the mannequin doll. Sorry, with the mannequin doll, the ventriloquist doll.
Oh, Night of the Living Dummy. Yeah,
Night of the Living. Yeah, Night of the Living. Oh, sorry, Return of the Mummy. Night of the Living Mummy.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got. And there's a lot more stuff on here compared to what the show originally brought. And to be honest, there are a lot of episodes on the show where you think this is cool, this is scary, this is fun, and then you have a few of them which are like quite cringy.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, and there
were some that were like cringy, and then some that were just batshit insane.
Yeah, and you look back at it, you go, yeah, this hasn't aged well whatsoever. And you think this is cool at the time. Now as an adult, you're like, oh boy, this is cringe.
God, I'm trying to remember the name of the fucking episode now. All I remember is it was like these two lads, and there was like an old woman, and they were essentially like put a curse on them that made them like age like old men.
Yeah,
and then they were trying to like pawn them off to like older women to date.
Yeah,
and I remember like looking at it thinking, did Goosebumps just glorify pedophilia in this fucking series or what?
Well, I mean, some of the people in this were quite cringy and like
I mean
were creepy, but I think that was the idea of some of it.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes with like the it goes with the show, especially as well where some of the episodes open up with RL in it as well.
Yeah.
Didn't he end up in one of the episodes as well? I'm pretty sure he did.
So who is it that we're talking about here?
R.L. Stein, the actual
I think he's definitely made some cameo appearances.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm pretty sure he's made some appearances in these episodes.
Yeah, because there's 62 books that were published of Goosebumps.
There was a lot of books.
Yeah, from like 92 to from 1982 to 1987. The first book was called Welcome to the Dead House, and the last was called Monster Blood 4.
There was a lot of Monster Blood ones.
There was a lot of Monster Blood ones. Now let's talk about some of the actors that are involved in this, like in this show, okay? Because doing my research, there were actors in these shows. All these shows are like, some of them were shorts, and there were like full length features.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to quickly be right back. My food's just arrived.
Yeah, no worries. You carry on. So like, there were certain different show like series episodes. Okay, so you had I'll just run through some of the lengths of the episode, which I'll find now because I know they were here. This is how much of a good podcaster I am, because I did have it up and I've bloody forgotten where it is. Let's go. So, there you are. So, runtimes for regular shows were 24 minutes long, and then for some of the specials, you had 48 minutes, which is really, really good for them. And it's so much fun. The music fit the show as well. It doesn't say the composers. So the composers were Jack Lenz, who did seasons 1 and 3, and then Brad McDonald did seasons 2 to 4. Now I don't know what other music they'd done in the past, which I should have really done my research on. But the music was absolutely spot on. Jack Lenz made that incredible theme that you hear at the start of this podcast, where it's just so creepy, funky, but so 90s as well at the same time. And the genres that this book and this show hits as well. You got anthology, comedy, drama, horror, mystery, science fantasy, supernatural, and thriller.
I've just got back. Sorry about that.
That's all right. And they're all really, really good genres. Such a tackle of genres. There's about 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 genres it runs through.
There's a lot of genres with this series.
Yeah. But looking back on the actors, and like I said, returning to research and see some of the actors, I was so surprised to see some of the actors that we watched today were in this series. All right, and you've got you've got one with Catherine Isabelle in it. Catherine Isabelle's in one. She's in the it comes from beneath the sink. She was in that. Yeah. And this one really surprised me. In the episode Say Cheese and Die, do you know who the star of that was?
If I remember rightly, was it Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling was in it. And then you've got Scott Speedman as well in it as well. So quite an array of actors that are that started off as young actors in this show. You also got weirdly Adam West.
Yeah, the original Batman.
Was a guest star in the show as well. And I literally saw you've got AJ Cook as well. She was in it, and I didn't know this until literally just seeing it just now. Night of the Living Dummy 3. Okay, stars a young Hayden Christensen as Zane, which I did not know.
Anakin Skywalker himself.
And little did we know that episode featured was in July 20th, 1997. So 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002. 5 years later, Hayden Christensen would be in Star Wars Episode 2. That's crazy. It's crazy how you go into it and you just go, what the Jesus Christ, it's so good. It's so much fun. The show arrays from Canada, America, UK. It's really really good, well thought out, and such an array of books and different stories as well. Obviously, it petered out as time went on, I think, and it lasted for a long time. For us kids, it lasted a long time. But then after that, it simply dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it certainly did.
Which was unfortunate.
Hmm.
Until it might get its own episode one day, but they brought Goosebumps back with a movie starring Jack Black.
Yeah.
And I've heard mixed reviews on it, so I'm looking to give it a shot on an episode one day.
Yeah.
And have you seen that movie?
I don't think I've only heard little bits and pieces about the movie, but I don't think I've been able to. I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through.
Yeah, and then very recently now they've brought out like a reboot of the show.
Yeah.
So, and that's only been out very, very recently. Because they wanted to do a live action. It was announced in April on 28th of April 2020 that a live action reboot of Goosebumps was being produced by Sony.
Right.
And then Origin Films, who produced both of 2015 film and sequel in March 2021. That they were bringing like this Goosebumps, but R.L. Stein had stated that the series had found a producer and a director, so he's still. So R.L. Stein is still involved with pretty much a lot of the stuff to do the show, which is really, really good to see.
Yeah.
So I don't see why not the reboot shouldn't be as successful, if not better, than the stuff that we grew up in the 90s.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's good for like a new generation to experience these books that we grew up with.
And
like, I'm pretty sure some people got introduced to like the horror genre via Goosebumps.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that being a possibility. I mean, I know. Well, Goosebumps may have not been the one that introduced horror genre to me, but I think it was something that I think it was probably for the first time at that point where I was checking something out that was based on the book as I read the books first before seeing the series.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the first time that I ever had that kind of like experience with something, because usually it'd be the case of, oh, I saw the movie first and then this. Whereas for me, it was the other way around. And I will say there are some episodes in the series that really follow the stories of the book very well.
Yeah.
And then there were others where they've had to make changes and what have you, vice versa, or they just didn't follow it too well. So, and they made like noticeable changes because sometimes in the books, a lot of the endings to the stories can be really fucking dark and surprisingly violent. And they're like, oh no, we can't do that because kids. We've got to protect the kids.
Yeah.
And all that jazz. And it's just like, okay.
Bloody
censorship. Oh well.
Bloody censorship in the 90s, isn't it? The North Americans were like, yeah, we're getting all this stuff over here. It's like, oh, it's quite elegant and, proper. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Give us what we want.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I always found like the Goosebumps series like a very like there's some really good stuff in it, but there's also some noticeable cheese and
a typical 90s. Like, I don't think we get that anyway with like the 90s stuff.
I mean, I think around about this time you would usually get your mix of cheese and cringe in the 90s
with a bit of cracker on top.
Yeah, like I mean. There have been a lot of like cringy shit in the 90s that I've been sadly displeasured to even seeing back then. But yeah. I remember like pretty enjoying Goosebumps and also enjoying Are You Afraid of the Dark at that time as well. But then obviously looking back at both, I think you notice the cringe and the cheese a bit more.
I think that's why I love looking back on like the 90s stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you look back at shows, like Goosebumps,
Mm.
Baywatch is another one, probably the old school Baywatch, how cheesy that shit
Oh,
was.
oh, especially when you see like fucking Shawn Michaels take a bump from an old lady.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's so funny. I cannot wait one day to talk about Baywatch and specifically that episode.
Oh, like I,
Because I
yeah,
never because I never watched Baywatch. And then,
oh,
I never watched Baywatch, but then I think it was my dad that turned around and went, Shawn Michaels is on Baywatch today.
oh.
This week. I was like, is he? Like, yeah. This was about like 96, I think.
Sounds about right because Michaels was
Yeah.
on top of the fucking world, and I think he was like their WWE champion at the time.
At the time, yeah. And
there he is, just taking a bump for an old lady.
Lady, yeah. And I think that's the one and only Baywatch episode I watched.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
I think I've watched a bit more Baywatch myself actually, because it was at the time. It was like one of those shows where I heard the talk about it, and then saw it on telly and had a little gander and thought,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And yeah, I saw the Shawn Michaels episode. There was also a couple other episodes wrestling related, which definitely surprised me as well. There was one where they had Hogan, Vader, Ric Flair, and Randy Savage on, which was interesting.
Oh, yeah, that was like 92, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. And I think they were like promoting, like, I think Bash of the Beach, I think it was that they were.
No, it wasn't 92, it was like 95.
Something like that. Yeah, it would have been 95 because Hogan would have been WCW at that point. And another episode, weirdly enough, had Giant Gonzalez in his fucking hairy Dickless Yeti outfit as well. Like, there's a like, so he's based from what I gather from the episode, he's like this carnival freak thing. But then outside of it, he's just like a normal human being. But then it's just seeing him in that hideous Giant Gonzalez outfit when he's like caged up, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Do you know what? I know Baywatch. You can see Baywatch somewhere. You can watch him now. But dude, I can't wait to talk about Baywatch. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that will be a load of fun. I'll agree.
Can't wait. Right. I don't think there's much else we could talk about Goosebumps, I think, because I had a feeling this was going to be a short episode. I had a feeling because when it comes to TV shows like this, there's only so much you could talk about, like the books and the shows, how the show
exactly, yeah,
and how good or how bad or how cringe the show is from back in the day. But like, oh god, if we had to score this, you could have given it a freaky number like 95. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. 1995.
Fair.
Like, if we could give this like an episode out of 1995, which would be like a good score? Because for me, I would probably give it like an 87.
I probably would have gave it like an 85, 86.
Yeah,
only because it came out at a time where the books were relevant around about that time. There are some stories that they adapt really well from. Good examples being The Haunted Mask. There was something like Once in Horrorland or something. There was another one. That was done pretty well, I do remember. And there was the one with Adam West in it. I remember having a bit of like hilarious fun with that one.
Yeah.
But then there are some other stories where it's a mixture of it's very cringe of the subject matter, which I think, like I fucking mentioned earlier, there was that one episode. I forget. I want to say it was season 3. Was it season 3? I'm trying to have a look, or unless it was like one of the later seasons. It might have been one of the later seasons. I don't know. An old story, that was it, where basically there's this auntie who has these prune cookies and essentially forces the kids to eat them, which turns them into old men.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the plot where she tries to sell them to two aunties or two of her widow friends who want husbands. Which, I mean, as a kid, didn't really get an idea what the fuck was going on. As a grown-ass adult, it's a very awkward fucking watch.
Yeah. I mean, what was the one? What was the one where the kid turned into a dog, but then at the end of the story, it was like, no, the kids were the dogs already.
Oh, wasn't it something about his Harry's adventure or some shit like that? Is it the one where he grow? Does he grow like hair at some point in the fucking?
Yeah, him and his friends just start growing hairs because they all think they're kids, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, they're actually dogs.
Yeah, My Harry's Adventure. Yes, that would be the one. I do remember. I remember that one being very cringy.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, okay, so these kids are actually kids, but turns out they're actually dogs, imagining to be humans. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, because I'm sure a kid will follow that. Good. Yeah, there are some. Yeah, like I said, there are some stories in this where, as a kid, couldn't fucking understand it. As a grown-ass adult, still can't fucking understand it. So, yeah, I'd say for me, 85's the sort of score where it's like, there's some good stuff in this, but forewarned, there's some cringe.
Yeah, it hasn't aged quite well.
Nah, I think it's aged just about as bread being left. I mean, it just goes all green and mold.
What is it? 95, 2005, 2015, 2025. This show is nearly 30 years old. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's like 2 years. It's like 28 years old at the moment. So it's absolutely nuts. Oh, hey, dude. No, thank you very much for coming on again. Appreciate it.
Pleasure as always, my dude.
We've got you on the next episode for Doom as well, so we're looking forward to that one. I don't know you're looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot to say about that fucking movie.
We promised that this was kind of like a cool episode, and then next week is probably going to be a rip the shit out of a movie episode.
Yeah,
it's like when I talk about good, bad, and the ugly. Oh boy, this movie is probably going to be the ugly one.
Oh yeah.
Cheers, dude. Appreciate it.
Pleasure as always, man.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 34 of the Multiverse Entertainment Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget, you can always follow us here each and every week on audio form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Each episode drops every Monday, so feel free to drop in. It's a great way to start your week. Also, as well, you can follow us on social media as well if you want to check us out. Each week you get a little sneak peek into what this week's episode is going to be. So this week so you can follow us. See, I'm no good at these bloody outros or intros, whatever. I suck at this. You think 34 episodes in, you think I'd nail it by now, but clearly not. So you can follow us on social media at Instagram at Multiverse of Entertainment Pod. You can also follow us on TikTok at Mo Podcast as well. You can catch me as well on social media. Just follow It's That Nerd James on Instagram, Twitter. I don't care. It's called X. It's Twitter. You can follow me on TikTok as well. I'm currently doing like Michael Bublé Christmas songs at the moment, like little 15-second snippets just for Christmas because I want to, and it pisses a lot of people off, so it's quite funny. You can also catch me on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/It's That Nerd James. I'm currently on there 2 days a week at the moment, just because I work nights at the moment, and the night I sleep most of the day. So so you can only catch me on 2 days a week at the moment. But after Christmas and after New Year's, I will be adding more streams to my schedule, so stay tuned for that. You can catch me there playing games, reacting to stuff, and just being absolute bullied by the chat, so feel free to come in. And I think that's everything as well. Oh, we just hit affiliate on Twitch as well, so thank you all for tuning in. Tuning on to my Twitch channel as well. I do appreciate that, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, I think that's it. Next week, Sassy Clarence returns with me to do another episode 35. We're back in the movie genre, and oh god, both of us are looking forward to this because mostly this film's gonna get ripped the shit out of, but for me it's like, I don't know. We'll give it a good episode. Next week, episode 35 is gonna be about Doom. That's right, we're talking about Doom, the movie, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Carl Urban. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna play the outro that we all love so much. Have a good one, guys. See you next week. Goodbye.